Hello, punters, and welcome back to another episode of the Snapshot. Rocky, we've had a week off, so we've got plenty to talk about. Not the best weekend of footy last weekend, but let's quickly have a look at the futures market because we had a few key changes. Collingwood, $4 favourites still. Brisbane, $6. Geelong, $6. The Dogs, $8. And Hawthorn back into $10. Where are you standing on the Premiership right now?
Still probably the same. I think it's still down to 3 or 4 teams. My Swans are going to be made it a little bit more difficult for themselves. I think the Dogs are still thereabouts. Hawthorn were impressive, but it was against lacklustre North Melbourne, so not sure where to speak there. Collingwood were a bit underwhelming, did what they had to get the job done against West Coast. Brisbane still, I think, are right thereabouts as well, and the Crows are probably another one that put in another good performance. So on their best day, they're going to be hard to beat as well.
Yeah, Crows looked very good over the weekend. We'll talk more about the Swans on the potty, but you're still beating that drum. You think they're going to do it?
They're going to have to win. I did my ladder predictor and sent it to you boys yesterday, and you had a bit of a laugh at me. I think there's still a chance to make it. They're going to have to win most of the games on the way home, but they're two that they've got to win Brisbane and Geelong, which are going to be their biggest challenges. But they match up reasonably well against the Lions and got them done up here, I think, last year as well. So I'm not putting a line through them. I thought they were impressive on Friday night. Couldn't quite get the job done. Had they been a bit more accurate in front of goal, they'd probably get the job done. But to the Dogs' credit, they got it done. So I'm not putting a line through them yet. But yeah, it's made it tougher for them.
You're a brave man. I'm curious to see who you think's going to come out of the 8. But we'll talk about that on the potty. We're talking off air about some of the odds available for this upcoming round. Very, very short prices. The Dogs are $1.10 on Thursday night. Collingwood $1.20. GWS very short. The Suns short. Geelong about $1 against Richmond on Saturday. Same for the Lions. The list goes on. Is this the kind of round, though, where we could see a bunch of upsets? It feels like we're due for one.
Well, it certainly could be. It's always the way when you go into a round thinking that you could pick the 9 winners quite comfortably, which is good. We're back to the 9 games. We've got the buys behind us, but I just had a quick look then. You put them together, it's only $7 for the multi on the Neds app on Monday morning. $7.52 you get if you backed all the favourites. So that's as short, I think, as a round that we've seen. Yep. The biggest or the longest price favourite's $1.65 in the Swan. So it's one of those games, one of those rounds that can make you look like a fool, but I can't see any of those being upsets at the moment. So, it's an interesting round of footy. I think it may be the top 9 versus the bottom 9 for the round. Sydney being outside the 9 or top 8 and their favourites. But, yeah, it looks like a one-sided round.
Yeah, it does. And with the way we're tipping at the moment, we'd take a $7 multi, wouldn't we?
We might have to take all the outsiders and see how we go.
Let's talk about last week's multi because for some reason I decided we'd go 5 legs. We threw Jack in the mix as well. You took the Swans head-to-head against the Dogs. So we were out pretty early. And then we had Noah Anderson 30+. That fell 3 disposals short. I took Mabior Chol 2+. That came good. We had Collingwood at the line, which we haven't spoken about yet. And then we had Nick Dacos 30+. So we only got the 2 legs. The Pies. What happened in that first half?
They were just a bit flat, weren't they? To West Coast credit, they came to play and took it up to them, but it felt like it should have been a 90-point drumming. We thought that they'd get the job done pretty comfortably, but they didn't. So to West Coast credit, they performed reasonably well, and the Pies, they just doing what they have to, I suppose, this time of year. They don't want to be in their best form. They want to prime right, but interesting game of footy, that one.
Yeah, it was a big line, 58.5 points, always a little bit dangerous. And we've got another big line on Thursday night, North Melbourne's celebration of 100 years, 40+. Head start for the Roos against the Dogs. I'm going to back North Melbourne here. I think this is a huge occasion. I know you've been against me for this in the past when I back North Melbourne, but look, I
Richmond,
think they get up
West
for
Coast, North Melbourne, you can't put them in a multi, and you've done it a couple of times and cost us. But hey, you do you.
Yep.
we're not nailing them. So,
what else have I gone? I've gone the Adelaide Crows to cover against Melbourne -25.5.
Yeah, I think that probably gets done. They were good, the Adelaide Crows yesterday against the Tigers, and Melbourne. They they were as disappointing as any team over the weekend. So I don't mind that multi. I'm going to follow you with a bit of line betting. I'm going to take the Cats. I think it's 10 goals, so 59.5 head start against Richmond. I think they will belt them down there.
No Tom Lynch either.
Yeah, Tom Lynch. So, it makes it really difficult for them. And then I have to stick with my boys, the Swans. They've made me look like fools in the past when I said they couldn't lose the grand final. And then I've tipped in. You can get out to $21 now for them to make the 8. And I think they still can. So punters out there, a little flutter. Not too big, a couple of dollars, and you might make a nice little profit.
I think the Swans are going to be your default leg, whether you like it or not, for the rest of the season.
I'm going to have to tip into them for the rest of the year.
So we got North Melbourne to cover, Geelong to cover, the Swans to win, the Crows to cover. Nice little $11.31 that rounds out to on the Neds app in the specials section. Thank you again, Rocky.
Good on you, Ryan.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website